Ah, there we go. Sorry about that. I have my radiation suit on, my hazmat suit. So I'm fresh back from the nuclear plant. We'll be doing some cool things over there. But this episode, oh my god, it's raining. Well, the worst timing. Anyway, we're trying to draw the farm to a conclusion. We're very close to the end. We've got the restaurant pretty much up and running. There's still two big things, though, we need from the farm. Well, three, but two big ones. The first one of those is milk. We need to make a place for cows to get milked, put the milk into bottles, and send the bottles to the warehouse. The second might be a bit trickier because it involves some thinking outside the box. We need a chicken farm, a chicken coop. We want to get chicken, and we also need eggs. Eggs are very important for any kind of baked good. So let's jump in and see where we are. Wakey, wakey, rise and shine. Okay, thank the heavens. It's daytime and the rain has stopped. So on top of the extra eggs, chicken, and milk that we need for our baked goods, we also need a few more crops. Now I've come over here and I'll show you what I've done. I've set up, but we'll check this. Is that a bee? We've got bees around here. There's a bee. I wonder where he's going from. So let's see if we've got a hoe in here first. A hoe? Oh, we do. Okay, so we'll get some stone hoes out. Probably use up both of these. But I've set up a last area for another farm. This is all hooked up to the power grid. We've got a plant interactor with a range add-on. We're going to need another add-on as well to make it eject down south into the conveyor belts. But we've also got a big area set up. Now, you guys mentioned in the video comments, and that's where I get most of my information, that the hydrator isn't really required. I thought that a hydrator actually accelerated crop growth, but I don't think it does. So we're not going to bother with it for the time being. We're just going to carve out an area here and put loads of crops down. Now, instead of having a big field, I've realized I've got like 4,000 lettuces and garlics and rice and onion. And if I leave the server on overnight, we can get plenty of crops without having to have entire fields dedicated to that crop. So what we're going to do is we're going to put strips of crop in here. Oh, there goes one hoe. But we're just going to put strips of the final crops we need to make all of the top tier foods for our restaurant. So things over at the nuclear plant are going great, man. It's a really cool mod, Nuclear Craft. So if you haven't seen the All the Mods series, Nuclear Craft, check it out. It's me and Duncan and Lewis going nuts, building a nuclear power plant. Now, it's very tech heavy. It's super sciencey, but it's a pretty cool mod with crazy possibilities for power generation. Later on, you can get some fusion reactors with electromagnets, hydrogen, all this crazy stuff that generates like insane amounts of power. You could power like 1 million Xboxes or a sun. You could probably power a sun. So anyway, if we put crops in here, they'll grow, they'll get sucked up by that plant interactor, and then we'll be able to deposit the crops into the warehouse. Now, I will need an item stack upgrade, one of these. Item stack push down. So that's pistons, plastic, magenta dye. Do we have any of that? We do. And we should have the rest of it as well. Plastic. Oh yeah, fantastic. And I actually picked up some pistons because I thought it'd be used in some of the machines that we're going to make, and luckily it is. So simple, there we go. So I've already got a range upgrade in here, tier 6. And if we look at the working area, that's definitely going to be big enough to cover the entire plot of this land. Perfect. Turn that off. Okay. Now another thing, we use the market in our kitchen to get all the seeds we need. Luckily enough, I've got an almost infinite source of emeralds in the form of my bagger on the mountain, my massive excavator that's digging up a vein of coal, but it also gets a lot of diamonds and emeralds. It's pretty much a dream come true. If you're playing all the mods at home and you go into immersive engineering and you manage to find a mineral deposit that's coal, definitely get it because it's diamonds, coal, and emeralds. 3 super important things. You may have seen in the flyover as well that I set up another bagger. This entire machine rebuilt over a vein of uranium because we need that for the nuclear series. And you guys mentioned that I'd found one. I'd totally forgotten about it, but I found... Oh, wow, look at all these emeralds. But I'd already found a vein of uranium, so I could mine that up. Well, yeah, look at this. We've got stacks and stacks of diamonds and emeralds. Not a huge amount, but certainly about 5 or 6 stacks. And when you talk about diamonds, that is actually a lot. So one thing we could do with these emeralds is we could put them in a grinder. That would grind up the ore and get us emeralds. But I'm lazy, so we're just going to use my hammer, put down the ore, and dig it up as if it was real emeralds we found in the wild. Wow. And because we've got luck on our hammer, we get a stupid amount of emeralds out of that. So the first big Pam's dinner we're going to look at is gonna be... We'll go for the southern style breakfast first up, because we've certainly got pork chops. We can use apparently raw tofu instead of eggs. Biscuits and gravy, toast. So toast is very easy, that's just bread. Biscuits and gravy requires biscuits and gravy. Gravy requires wheat flour and stock. Stock is bones, beans, which we got. Ground duck, ground fish. We can use beans, we can use bean stock. So that's fine. And a biscuit is dough and butter. Again, butter. Very important we get some milk for that. So for a southern style breakfast, I think we've got everything we need, except tofu. So we might as well get some tofu. Tofu is tofu and yellow dye. And tofu is something you grow. Soy and firmed tofu in a centrifugal separator. Oh man, screw that. It looks like we're going to have to build a chicken coop because tofu looks harder to make than eggs. Well, okay, how about meat feast pizza? Cooked chicken, pizza, pepperoni, tomato. Again, we've got all the vegetables for the meat feast pizza. Okay, so it's time to plant up these crops. Now, we're also going to want probably... Ah! Oh no. No! I've got to reconfigure all of that now! Oh! Okay, mischief managed. That looks like everything that we have. Back on track. Whew. And there we go. The first layer of crops is down. Now, let's go over and plan out where we're going to put our milk factory. Now, I don't want the milk factory to be too far away. Over the river, beyond the meat factory, might be a bit too far, but I'm not sure. Let's go and have a survey of the environment round the back here. We do have all the conveyors set up, so it would be pretty simple to do it around the back here. Yeah, and it's not like we'll need a lot of room. So let's just start clearing out a little bit of an area here. Okay, yeah, this kind of area looks kind of perfect. We're going to need, like, let's say... We're going to put down, let's say, about 8 to 12 cows. Have them constantly be milked. And then put the milk into a bottler machine that turns them into bottles. And the bottles get sucked up via conveyor belt all the way back to the factory. Okay, sweet. So let's start planning out what we're going to put where. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to map out the area first. We're going to build all of the systems, and then we're going to build a building around it. That kind of worked well with the meat factory, planning out exactly what was going to go where. And so it means we don't waste any space. Now, also, if I pop my Akashic Tome and go to Immersive Engineering, a simple machine, a bottling machine. This is the one. So it's not too hard to make. Some steel scaffolding, iron sheet metal, some machine blocks, a pump. I think I can definitely make this, or I have some lying around. Now I'm going to head over to the city and pick up the rest of the things I need. Okay, so we're back and we've got almost all the things we need. Animal rancher, which is pretty simple to make. Just a couple of gold gears, steel casing, which is very simple to make. Some shears, and we got loads of plastic. Yeah, so very simple to make. And the machine parts for a bottler. So let's start putting down some fence. Now I'm going to use the treated wood fence because I've got more of this. But we're just going to have the cows in like a long line. And we're going to keep it as square as possible because that way we can get the most bang for our buck out of the animal rancher. So if we start here, and I think cows need about a pen of about 2 by 1, we'll say. And then another row here. 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be 10 cows in total. And I think that's probably going to be enough for us to milk, especially if we leave this on overnight. One of the luxuries we have is being able to leave the server running overnight so that we can just accrue milk. Now, also, these cows aren't going to need to go anywhere. We're not going to need to worry about feeding these bad boys. So we can get away with walling up their pens. And it looks like we should have just enough treated fence. There you go. We can have the rancher right here. Perfect. This should work. And then the milk will get sucked out via pipe and put into the bottling machine. And now we're going to make the bottling machine. So this is simple. We could use a projector to work out where we're putting this, but I don't really think we need to because there's not enough blocks for it to be too much of a headache. But I will need a bit more space. Okay, perfect. So we're going to put the bottling machine over here. In fact, let's take a look and see if we can work out where the outputs are. So the milk has to go in that side, which is there. So that works perfectly. Okay, let's put the rest down. Now, one whack with the engineering hammer, which I should have around, should turn this into... There we go. The conveyor belt. Perfect. This is going to be the bottling machine. It's going to put all the milk into bottles. Now, we are going to need some bottles, but that should be fine. So, okay, conveyor belts. Oh, there's some conveyor belts in here as well. Okay, let's head over. Okay, so let's just pinch some cows. Wait, are there any lying around waiting to be minced up? Can we save a cow's life today? Maybe not. So as a test, we'll just put the cows in here. We can do the rest later on. But in go the cows, and they love it. Look at that. They're so happy to be caged and ready to be milked. Man, I wonder if actually being milked all your life is a reasonable existence. Do you reckon cows get sad? Do cows get sad? These guys both look very sad. So a basic mechanical pipe is going to suck the fluid out, and we'll make sure it knows to suck the fluid out. And we don't need an item stack transfer thing because this doesn't pull out items, it pulls out liquids. Okay, well, we're going to tunnel underneath the meat factory because this should lead us directly to the other side of this hill. Oh, there we go. So the conveyor comes through here, down there, drops onto there, and goes all the way. What's that, mud? Is that mud or wool? That's mud. Why is there mud on the conveyor belt? That's probably my fault. Okay, well, that's all the systems in place. Let's see. We've got the animal rancher. We've got the bottling machine. It's a very, very simple setup. But now let's go into creative mode and build ourselves a pretty cool looking milk factory. Okay, a pretty basic build, but almost everything is in place now. We've also got some solar panels that are from Nuclear Craft along the roof. They're very cheap to make, very easy to make, and they provide a very low level of power, but they provide enough power for us to get going, certainly enough to power the bottling machine and the animal rancher, which are two very simple machines. But there's two more things that we need. Well, first up, we're going to need a crafting bench, and it's always nice to have like a crafting bench inside all these buildings, just in case you need to craft something on the fly, like we do now, because we're going to need a chest, and we're going to have to put it right here. And this is going to be basically a chest that pulls the bottles out of this chest. Oh, actually, does this work? Can we pull out of a chest? Let's see. No. We need a special chest. So we've increased the conveyor belt size by 1 so we can toss some bottles onto here and have them go through the bottling machine. Because this thing can hold... Let's see what the tank size is on this thing. On the bottling machine. It's quite big. And also there's enough room for 8 buckets of milk here. So we should be okay. But let's check the most important thing. Because there's going to be certain types of milk that the game can and can't interact with. So if we look at a Southern style breakfast, if we look at grits, if we look at the milk, so there's milk in a bucket, milk, so it looks like Pam's mod doesn't interact with the milk that we're trying to make. But a bucket of milk works fine. A bucket of milk can be turned into 4 fresh milk. And I think the bottling machine works with buckets. So let's find out. The bottling machine fills fluids into containers. Perfect. So it doesn't have to be a bottle. It can be a bucket. That's fine. The bottling machine will be able to fill any container that has a filled version available. Bucket or glass bottle. Also accept other items that can store fluids, like the mining drill or a jerry can. Additionally, special recipes may be available. Perfect. Well, we can just get loads of iron, create infinite buckets, and have enough milk to last us for a few generations. Oh my god, not again! Well, let's manually look for iron. No iron, but here's a spare bucket. Okay, oh man. I'm so depressed after that. I've got to do so much fixing. I think that's the worst thing in Minecraft. Creepers. When they blow something up and you have to do a lot of fixing. Okay, so let's try and plug this in and see if it actually works. So we've got a connector here. A connector there. A connector up here. And a connector up here. This should work. We can probably connect these two things to these two machines. Okay. It's getting RF. And so is the bottling machine. But it's not getting very much RF at all. It's going very, very, very slowly. But that's fine. Now, how much RF does this thing need to do an operation of... Oh, we also need a range thing to increase the range on our rancher. It doesn't quite have the catchment area. Although, does it yet? No, that's a very small working area. So here's a tier 5 range add-on. That should be far enough. Oh! It works! Wow! This really milks cows really well. I thought I was gonna... Wow, that's actually almost the perfect size, isn't it? Perfect range upgrade. Okay, so when we fill this in, this is going to create loads and loads of milk for us. So let's try the proof in the pudding. Let's take a look. So we put the bucket on the bottling machine. Goes up. It fills it with milk. And off it goes back on its merry way. Oh, yes! Now what we can set up actually is a machine that then takes the bucket of milk, turns it into 4... Can I run along here? Pick up that milk? Where's the milk? There's the milk. So we have a machine now that takes the milk bottle, the milk bucket that we have already, crafts it into 4 normal milk. We do get the bucket back. We can send the bucket back around the system, like have an input through here. The bucket goes back in. It creates another milk bucket. Oh, and that fixes our problem. Okay, well, I've got a plan now. What we're going to do is we're going to set up an automatic crafting table as well. Wait, the input side, in addition to item, also features a fluid input to fill the 3 internal tanks of the machine. So we have a bucket. The bucket creates a milk bucket. Then the milk bucket turns into normal Pam's milk. And the bucket goes back into the system. We can use an assembler instead of a bottling machine. Oh, and this will work so much better. Okay, we have a goal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get that set up in the downtime between this and next episode. And when we come back to do the chicken coop, I'll show you the completed bottle factory. But everything seems to work so far so good. The rancher works pretty well. The bottling machine is a very cool tool. But it seems like it's just not quite as efficient as the assembler. I should have used the assembler in the first place, but I've learned my lesson, guys, so learn from my mistakes. We're going to use the assembler to create an almost infinite source of Pam's milk. Until next time, guys, take care.